Hi, I'm Norman and this is Frosty Friday. In this week's Frosty Friday challenge, we are looking at dates. No, not the romantic kind, nor the fruit. We've talked to the superhero union and have received complaints that the schedules for any given hero doesn't take into account a normal working routine, and that even superheroes need weekends off. To address this, we are going to scaffold a date dimension table. Scaffolding is a useful technique to create dummy data out of thin air, such as when we want to create a calendar starting on the 1st of January 2000, making its way all the way through to the present day. Our table itself contains 8 columns. The first of which is the date starting from the turn of the millennium. We're also going to have the year as a 4-number digit. Excuse me. The month abbreviated, as well as the full month, the number of the day within that month, the number of the weekday, the number of the week in that year, and the number of the day in that particular year. So I'd expect that to be between 1 and 365. With the table defined, we're then going to create a user-defined function, or UDF, that calculates the number of business days between any two dates. So let's jump into our Snowflake worksheet, where I've set the context to the Frosty Friday Challenge database, schema public, warehouse is set to the compute warehouse, as well as the role set to account admin. We're going to start by setting 2 variables. The start date, hard-coded as the 1st of January 2000, and using the date difference function, we're going to calculate the number of rows between the turn of the millennium and the current date. The current date is a context function that returns the current date of the system. So depending on when this particular query is executed, the number of rows returned will differ. So let's go ahead and run that query. Next up, we have a CTAS statement to create or replace a table as, and within this SQL code, we have the inbuilt function dateAdd, which you can think of as the inverse of the date difference function, in that it adds a specific value, okay, for the specific date or time part or timestamp. So in other words, we have days being added to the start date in increments of 1 using the sequence for function, which as the Snowflake documentation explains, returns a sequence of monotonically increasing integers. We're also making use of the table generator function, which is useful when you don't have physical data, but you have an idea of how you want to create it. In this particular instance, we know we'd like to create a table with a column of dates, with each row ranging from the earliest date, the 1st of January 2000, all the way through to the current date, which if I glance at the calendar at the date of recording is January 10th, 2024. Okay. With the data definition language of our table created, next up we have a series of inbuilt functions that creates the remaining 7 columns required of this challenge. So let's go ahead and run this piece of code. And just query it to double check the results are expected. So what we should see in the results panel below is our 8 columns, date, year, month, abbreviated, the month long, day of month, day of week, week of year, as well as the day of year. With the first section of this challenge completed, we're now going to look at creating a function that calculates the number of business days between any 2 dates. This particular function accepts 3 parameters or arguments: the start date, the end date, as well as a boolean, okay, in which we can include or exclude the last date. And this function is being written using SQL scripting. So let's go ahead and create this function. And test it against these 2 dates here, the 2nd of November 2020 all the way through to the 6th of November 2020, which with our including the last date set to true, I'd expect to see a number 5, okay, and excluding it the number 4. So that's the first of 2 tests. Let's go ahead and populate the table with some more dummy data and see if our function can handle a series of values. All right, let's go ahead and run this test. And what we see in the results panel is the start date, the end date, as well as the date difference between the 2 periods, okay, including and excluding. And with that, we've just completed the challenge, Frosty Friday week 19. If you found this useful, go ahead, like and subscribe for more such content. Thanks for watching, and as they say in my hometown, don't forget to be awesome.